The year is 1846. Ambition hangs in the air, whispering in the wind, carrying the smell of gunpowder and the promise of conquest. The United States, a young nation intoxicated by its own rhetoric of expansion, casts a covetous eye on its neighbor to the south, Mexico. This is a story of power, of ambition, and of a war that would forever change the destiny of two nations. It's a story that deserves to be remembered. This is not a tale found in the chronicles of heroes and glorious victories. It's a story whispered in the shadows, etched in the memories of those who bore the weight of conquest and dispossession. It's the story of how the United States, driven by the belief in its own exceptionalism, consumed half of Mexico's territory. It's the story of the Mexican people who fought bravely against overwhelming odds to defend their homeland. Mexico in the early 19th century was a nation grappling with the legacy of colonialism. Newly independent from Spain, the country was plagued by internal divisions and economic instability. Vast stretches of its northern territories, sparsely populated and difficult to govern, were vulnerable to encroachment from opportunistic neighbors. The United States, meanwhile, was in the midst of manifest destiny. This intoxicating ideology fueled the belief that American expansion across the North American continent was both justified and inevitable. Texas, a Mexican territory bordering the United States, became a focal point for this expansionist drive. American settlers, lured by the promise of cheap land and opportunity, migrated to Texas, their numbers swelling and their influence growing. The arrival of American settlers in Texas brought with it not only cultural exchange, but also the seeds of dissent. These newcomers, accustomed to the principles of self-government enshrined in the U.S. Constitution, chafed under Mexican rule. Tensions mounted, fueled by cultural misunderstandings, economic disputes, and the Mexican government's attempts to assert control over its rebellious province. In 1835, these simmering tensions erupted into open rebellion. The Texas Revolution, a bloody and brutal conflict, pitted the Anglo-Texan settlers against the Mexican government. The Texans, as the rebels called themselves, fought fiercely for independence, eventually securing a decisive victory at the Battle of San Jacinto in 1836. The newly formed Republic of Texas, eager for stability and security, sought annexation by the United States. The question of Texas annexation, however, proved deeply divisive within the United States. Many Northerners opposed the expansion of slavery, which was legal in Texas, while Southerners saw annexation as a way to bolster their political power. Despite these internal divisions, the allure of territorial expansion proved too strong to resist. In 1845, the United States annexed Texas, incorporating the former Mexican territory into its national fabric. This act of aggression infuriated Mexico, which had never recognized Texan independence. The stage was set for a showdown that would redraw the map of North America. The drums of war, from the Nueces River to the halls of Montezuma. Following the annexation of Texas, a dispute arose over the territory between the Nueces River and the Rio Grande. The United States claimed the Rio Grande as the border, while Mexico insisted on the Nueces River. President James K. Polk, an ardent expansionist, used this border dispute as a pretext for war. In 1846, the United States Army, under the command of General Zachary Taylor, crossed the Nueces River and entered the disputed territory. Mexican troops, defending their sovereign soil, clashed with the American forces, and war began. The U.S. Army, better equipped and supplied than its Mexican counterpart, won a series of early victories. The American forces, propelled by a sense of manifest destiny, marched south, their sights set on the halls of Montezuma. A nation divided, Mexico's struggle against a superior force. Mexico, facing a larger and better equipped foe, fought bravely but struggled to repel the American invasion. Internal divisions, political instability, and a lack of resources hampered the Mexican war effort. Despite these challenges, Mexican soldiers and civilians displayed remarkable courage and determination in defending their homeland. From the streets of Monterrey to the formidable fortifications of Veracruz, Mexican troops resisted the American advance. Ordinary Mexicans, inspired by fierce patriotism, took up arms to defend their nation. Despite their bravery, the Mexican army, outnumbered and outgunned, faced an insurmountable challenge. The spoils of war, the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, and its aftermath. In 1848, after 2 years of bloody conflict, the war ended with the signing of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. The treaty forced Mexico to cede a vast swathe of territory to the United States, including what is now California, Nevada, Utah, and parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming. This forced land cession, encompassing nearly half of Mexico's pre-war territory, left a deep scar on the Mexican psyche. The war and its aftermath left Mexico economically devastated, territorially dismembered, and its national pride deeply wounded. The United States, meanwhile, emerged from the conflict territorially aggrandized, its sense of manifest destiny affirmed. Scars on the Land, the enduring legacy of a forgotten war. The Mexican-American War, often overshadowed in the annals of American history, casts a long shadow over the relationship between the two nations. For Mexico, the war represents a period of national humiliation, a stark reminder of the human and territorial costs of American expansionism. For the United States, the war marked a turning point in its history, solidifying its position as the dominant power in North America. The acquisition of vast new territories fueled westward expansion, intensified the debate over slavery, and set the stage for the nation's emergence as a global power. The war's legacy continues to resonate today in the complex dynamics that shape the US-Mexico border, a region marked by economic interdependence, cultural exchange, and the enduring legacies of conflict and conquest. Power, ambition, and the lessons of history. The Mexican-American War serves as a stark reminder of the human cost of ambition and the enduring legacy of conquest. It is a story that challenges us to confront uncomfortable truths about our nation's past and to consider the perspectives of those who were marginalized and forgotten. As we reflect on this often forgotten chapter of history, we are left to grapple with the enduring questions it raises about power, ambition, and the use of force in international relations. The Mexican-American War serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that the pursuit of national self-interest, if unchecked by moral considerations and respect for the sovereignty of others, can have devastating and far-reaching consequences.